GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Here are our top stories.
The Martinez-Ferrada administration is reviewing a plan to revive the eastern segment of the Réseau Express Métropolitain, halted in May 2022 over downtown opposition, potentially linking to the Metro Green Line. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
City officials gathered downtown today to outline a new push to revive the eastern stretch of the Réseau Express Métropolitain that was shelved in May 2022. The Martinez-Ferrada administration says the original cancellation stemmed from community concerns over the downtown alignment, and a revised route would tie the extension into the existing Green Line of the metro system. Planners are reviewing alternative corridors and station locations to address the social acceptability issues that stalled the project. The move comes as the municipal government seeks to boost regional connectivity and accommodate growing commuter demand. Details on funding and timelines remain under discussion as the city moves forward with feasibility studies. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, Montreal.
Across the province, volunteers are handing out school supply kits to thousands of children this week. The Operation Sac à Dos program, run by the government, aims to place a backpack filled with essentials in the hands of 12,000 students from low-income families. In Montreal, community group regroupment partage organized distribution sites on several streets, where families gathered to receive items such as notebooks, pencils, and crayons. CBC Montreal Daybreak host Sean Henry joined the effort, helping to load kits and speaking with parents about the importance of a ready start to the school year. Organizer Anne-Maria Thier said the initiative ensures every child begins classes with the tools they need, reinforcing the province's commitment to educational equity. The drives continue through the week, reaching neighborhoods from the Plateau to Verdun.
SDM has unveiled a slate of events to celebrate the Metro's 60-year milestone this October. The plan includes a series of free rides, historical exhibitions at key stations, and community activities along the green, orange, blue, and yellow lines. Officials say the celebrations will highlight the network's role in moving millions of riders daily and its evolution since the inaugural service on October 14, 1966. The agency also intends to launch a limited edition fare card featuring vintage station graphics and to host guided tour that trace the system's architectural quirks. Coordinating with local museums and cultural groups, SDM hopes the program will engage commuters and history enthusiasts alike, reinforcing the Metro's status as a backbone of the island's public transit. The anniversary will also feature a preview of upcoming green initiatives, including additional bike share stations at major hubs and a pilot of solar-powered lighting at select stops.
Political experts say the upcoming Quebec election this fall will not jeopardize the newly announced Churchill Falls hydroelectric agreement, as Ottawa's influence is expected to preserve the deal. Simon Fortier has the full story.
The new Churchill Falls Hydroelectric Pact, unveiled this week, is drawing comments from political analysts who say the looming provincial election in Quebec this fall will not derail the deal. Experts point to Ottawa's strong hand in the agreement, noting that even a shift in the provincial government is unlikely to overturn the terms already locked in. They stress that the federal-provincial partnership on the project has been structured to survive a change in leadership, with the federal side poised to keep the water flow and power commitments intact. As campaign rallies buzz across the province, the focus remains on how the upcoming vote will intersect with this long-standing energy venture. Simon Fortier, GMNA News, Montreal.
Strawberry and raspberry growers across the province are sounding the alarm as grocery aisles show fewer homegrown berries this summer. Josiane Cormier, spokesperson for the Association of Strawberry and Raspberry Producers of Quebec, told reporters that shelves are increasingly stocked with fruit flown in from Mexico and the United States. She said the surge in imports has squeezed out locally harvested berries, leaving shoppers with limited options and threatening the market share of Quebec's small fruit farmers. The association points to a noticeable drop in provincial supply compared with previous years, attributing the shift to what it calls unfair competition from abroad. Producers warn that reduced shelf space could undermine farms that have traditionally fed the province's consumers, and they are urging authorities to examine import practices. The group hopes that tighter regulations or promotional campaigns could restore balance for Quebec's berry sector.
Later, we'll explore the Hydro-Quebec thermostat fires raising safety concerns, plus more headlines you need to know. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Welcome back. Hydro-Quebec's partnership with Hilo is under scrutiny after a series of thermostat malfunctions ignited fires in residential units in Montreal. Approximately 10 homeowners have reported that their devices sparked flames, some while the units were unattended. The complainants say they have reached out to Hilo repeatedly, but have not received any acknowledgement. The incidents, which were first documented earlier this week, have prompted safety officials to advise residents to disconnect any Hilo thermostats pending a formal investigation. Hydro-Quebec has not yet issued a public statement regarding the product's safety or the pending complaints. Meanwhile, the Provincial Consumer Protection Agency has opened a preliminary review to determine whether the devices meet mandatory fire safety standards. Authorities stress that homeowners should monitor their heating systems closely and report any further anomalies to the appropriate regulatory body.
Unions are protesting the alleged privatization of Montreal's old port, saying the changes restrict public river access as private development expands. Demonstrators gathered today at the waterfront. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
Protesters from several local unions have gathered along the quays of the old port, holding signs that read, "Keep the waterfront public." They say recent contracts handed to private operators are turning previously open riverfront spaces into fee-based venues, restricting the ability of families and cyclists to enjoy the promenade. Speakers pointed to new luxury condos and commercial docks that have appeared over the past few years, arguing each project chips away at the open-air character of the historic district. Union representatives warned that the shift could set a precedent for further closures of public pathways along the St. Lawrence. The crowd remains on the waterfront, demanding that city officials halt any further privatization measures. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, Old Port.
Yesterday, the Martinez-Ferrada administration confirmed that the City of Montreal will not move forward with a new school in the Park Extension neighborhood until it can verify the projected increase in school-age children. The Centre de Services Scolaires de Montreal presented fresh enrollment analyses, but municipal officials said the data do not yet substantiate the need for additional capacity. City planners indicated the delay is intended to avoid committing resources before the demographic outlook is clear. Critics note that the neighborhood, already dense and home to many immigrant families, has long awaited expanded educational facilities. The administration reiterated that approval will be granted only after a thorough validation of the growth forecasts, keeping the proposal on hold for the foreseeable future. Mayor Soria Martinez-Ferrada's office said it will meet the school board next week to review the latest enrollment projections.
Union leaders of the Montreal Blue Collar Workers Federation have warned they may call a strike while the UCI 2026 Road World Championships unfold in September 2026. The potential walkout targets municipal services that keep the city moving, from waste collection to transit maintenance, and could intersect with the international cycling event that draws athletes and spectators from around the globe. Officials with the city have said contingency plans are being reviewed, but the union says negotiations have stalled and a work stoppage remains on the table. If a strike materializes, It would coincide with the opening ceremony at the Olympic Stadium and could disrupt road closures, security staffing, and public transportation throughout the championship week. Both parties are urged to reach an agreement before the event begins.
A public funeral for celebrated Montreal jazz pianist Oliver Jones, who died on 22 July at 91, will be held Monday 17 August at Union United Church in Little Burgundy. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
At Union United Church in Little Burgundy, a public funeral service is gathering today to honor Montreal's legendary jazz pianist Oliver Jones. The ceremony, scheduled for Monday, 17th of August at 6:08 in the evening, will draw musicians, friends, and longtime fans. Jones, who first touched the church's piano at 5 years old, passed away on July 22nd of this year at 91. Organists and brass players are expected to perform his classic standards, while the congregation prepares a candle-lit tribute. The church's historic walls, once echoing his early improvisations, now host a final celebration of his life and music. Family members and former bandmates are also expected to speak, sharing memories of his generosity and tireless dedication to the jazz scene. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, Little Burgundy.
Let's get a look at your night forecast with our weather team.
A stagnant ridge anchors the jet stream, keeping Montreal dry while temperatures cling to summer's tail. On this date, Montreal once scorched to 30.9 degrees in 2015, a record set during a late summer heat wave that pushed the city into the upper 30s elsewhere. The coldest extreme came in 2025, when temperatures plunged to 9.2 degrees, a rare Arctic air burst that arrived with a sharp northwesterly front. Normal high for today sits around 27 degrees and the low near 16, so today's 27 high feels right on the edge of the long-term average. Turning to the live radar, the screen is blank across southern Quebec and the St. Lawrence corridor. No precipitation echoes appear, confirming the dry air mass supplied by the stalled ridge. The jet stream, racing southwest at 137 kilometers per hour, steers any moisture well north of us. With no cells in sight, clear skies will persist through the night, and the calm will hold until the next front arrives later in the week. At 11 p.m., Montreal sits under a gentle southwest breeze of 10 kilometers per hour, humidity hovering around 76%, and a dew point near 16 degrees. The atmosphere is dominated by near-average pressure that is holding steady, while the jet stream arches overhead at 137 kilometers per hour from the southwest, keeping the ridge intact. With the ridge in place, temperatures will ease from the current 20 degrees to a low of 16 through the early morning, then climb to a high of 27 by late afternoon. UV index registers 5, modest for the season. Winds remain below 25 kilometers per hour, so no gust concerns. No weather alerts are active, allowing a quiet night and a stable day ahead. The 5-day outlook begins with Wednesday's overcast pattern, as a slow-moving frontal band drifts eastward, bringing 40% rain chances and a high of 21 degrees with lows holding at 16. Thursday clears dramatically. The ridge deepens, delivering a crisp 23-degree high and a gentle 15-degree low under clear skies. Friday follows a similar picture, 24 degrees at peak and 15 at night, while the jet stream remains aloft, suppressing any lift. Saturday warms to 26 degrees, the warmest of the stretch, with low 16 and uninterrupted sunshine. Sunday reintroduces moisture from a southerly surge, offering a 22-degree high, 17 at night, and a 60% rain probability, closing the week with a brief shower window. And that's your weather. Remember, the wrap is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Stay tuned for traffic updates, a look at what's on today, and the latest on our hockey season. We will be right back.
Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
Training camp is closing in, and the Canadiens have some unfinished business. Arbor Eksekaj and Zachary Bolduc are still without contracts, and with camp on the horizon, that clock is ticking for the Canadiens' front office. Meanwhile, Alexei Vlasov earns a rookie camp invitation, and on a lighter note, Yuppie is nominated for Best NHL Mascot. The Big House deserves nothing less. Owen Protz turns pro this season at 20, and the Canadiens know exactly what they're getting, a hard-nosed, physical presence on the blue line. His scoring dipped last year, but that was never the point. On a roster building its identity, a player who finishes his checks and protects the paint has real value. Jard Davidson's first professional season was a story in 2 chapters. 9 goals and 2 assists in 13 games earned him an NHL debut with the Canadiens. Then production cratered, 7 goals and 7 assists over his final 40 games. Camp this fall is his chance to rewrite the ending. Camp opens soon, and this roster has some real questions left to answer.
Thanks, Jason.
Welcome back. RCMP officers have seized an ancient Peruvian ceremonial bowl in Montreal following a request from the Peruvian embassy for its repatriation through Global Affairs Canada. Camille Dowsett has the full story.
Police officers from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police say they recovered an ancient Peruvian ceremonial bowl during a routine investigation in the Plateau district of Montreal. The artifact, which dates back centuries, was seized from a private residence after authorities were alerted to its suspected illicit origin. Representatives from Global Affairs Canada confirmed that the Peruvian embassy formally requested its return, and arrangements are now underway to ship the bowl back to Peru. Officials emphasized that the repatriation follows established international protocols for cultural property. The bowl will be handed over to embassy staff later this week before being escorted to the airport for transport. Camille Dowsett, GMNA News, Plateau.
Quebec's Auditor General says the incoming government must trim at least $2 billion from the 2027 budget to stay on track for a balanced fiscal plan. Elise Marchand has the full story.
Inside the Auditor General's office, officials laid out a stark fiscal forecast. Their latest analysis warns that the incoming provincial administration will need to trim at least $2 billion from the budget beginning next year if it hopes to stay on course for a balanced ledger by 2027. The report points to a shrinking margin for any new spending promises the political parties are courting, noting that every additional program would further squeeze the already tight fiscal space. Party leaders have been urged to reconsider costly pledges as the province confronts a tightening bottom line. The auditor's findings come as Quebec prepares for its next election cycle, with budget decisions looming. Elise Marchand, GMNA News, Montreal.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on The Wrap. Tonight's tribute to jazz legend Oliver Jones reminded us of the city's vibrant cultural spirit. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories shaping our community, so stay tuned and have a great evening. And remember, your voice matters in every conversation we cover.